You're listening to Mr. Credit on San Diego 1700 with local credit expert Derek Evans. Now, live in studio, Mr. Credit.
Welcome to Mr. Credit. We are live and local here in San Diego, bringing you the most important hour in radio and telling you everything they don't want you to know. When I say they, I mean the Wall Street gangsters, the government, the banks, the credit bureaus, the media, or anybody else who's trying to misinform you so that they can take your hard-earned money. That's not how we roll on Mr. Credit. Visit MrCreditRadio.com if you want to send me a message or do a Facebook search for Mr. Credit, and you will find me there. David Ortiz won the home run contest last night. Pretty interesting. I wish I could have seen Adrian Gonzalez in that thing. I'm telling you. A left-hander always wins it, and I think Adrian Gonzalez would have won it last night. Anyway, the Padres at the All-Star break with 51 wins, 2-game lead on Colorado and Los Angeles. So the next game won't be until Friday night for the All-Star festivities as such. That game will be at home downtown at Petco Park versus Arizona. I am not going to give a game time because I tend to get those wrong, but I know it's a night game, so it's probably 7 o'clock. Even though it says 10 o'clock here, I know it's 7 probably. Anyway, you can catch all the Padres action right here on San Diego 1700, so make sure you save this station in your dial. Very special guest in the studio today, a friend of mine, a Navy SEAL, and a home loan expert on VA loans, Andrew Paul in the studio. Andrew, thank you for being here.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
Round of applause. Not just for being a guest on the show, but for serving this country. We appreciate that significantly on the show. Now, this is your first time on the radio, Andrew?
It's the first time.
All right. How you feel?
I feel great. I just hope you don't surprise me with any crazy questions.
I'm not going to ask you any crazy questions, but it's your first time on the air. Now, everyone knows that Navy SEALs have to go through a rigorous training regimen just to qualify to even become a SEAL. I've seen the documentaries on Geographic Channel and all that and all the crazy stuff. And so I wonder, most people when they come on the show, especially if they're first time on the air, they get kind of nervous, they feel a little bit scared. Is that just all gone for you now? Did they just beat all that out of you? Do you not have any scared anymore when you come into a situation like this?
No, I think you get to a point where you just look at everything as something you have to accomplish. I'm really not nervous about it at all. I've never been on the radio before, but I'm not nervous about it or anything. Yeah.
So they did take care of that for you.
Yeah, they beat it right out of you.
I like using that analogy because, I've always heard that they do some crazy stuff, and then I saw that thing, and they were literally dropping guys in the ocean a couple miles out or something, and it's hey, if you make it back, then you move on to the next stage. And I pulled up this picture, and I wanted to read this really quick just to start the show off because I want you to understand the amount of respect you need to have for someone like this. So this is a picture. Is this picture here where these guys are laying kind of backwards on the sand, the water's washing up over them? Is that a normal training regimen?
That brings back all kinds of memories.
Yeah. If you Google Navy SEAL, you'll see that there's pictures, and you'll see these guys that are just laying on the beach, and it looks like they're being told to just kind of lay arm in arm and just let the water come, rush up on them, and they just have to sit there, and who knows how long they had to sit there for.
It depends. Time of the year, it's pretty scientific. They make sure guys aren't getting hypothermia, and they're monitoring the guys pretty well. But situation like this, the whole thing is guys are getting really cold. The water rushes over them, so you got to watch when you're breathing, and it's just how long can you take it. But I'll tell you, for anyone who's going through training who doesn't even know this, they're not going to kill you. So it hurts really bad.
If they wanted to, there's a much easier way to do it. So this article says, what is it that makes a Navy SEAL? Is it their physical strength, speed, fearlessness, abilities, training, or determination? From 1962, when the first SEAL teams were commissioned, to present day, Navy SEALs have distinguished themselves as an individually reliable, collectively disciplined, and highly skilled maritime force because of the dangers inherent in NSW, which that probably stands for
Naval Special Warfare.
Naval Special Warfare. Prospective SEALs go through what is considered by many military experts to be the toughest training in the world. Now, this is just kind of intriguing for me, and I think it's interesting, so I want to talk about it. Okay. So, first of all, what makes a guy say, I want to be a Navy SEAL?
I don't know. I think it's different for a lot of people. For me, I just have always felt this desire to serve my country. I've been proud to be an American, and saw injustices in the world, or thought, I would really like to reach out and be in a position where I can help those who need helping and maybe are being beat up by the bad guy or the bully or whatever. And so I thought, I'd like to serve, I'd like to be in the military in some way, and then it just wanting to be the best. So, I start off in high school, I was kind of looking at, well, who's the best? And, you see the movies and you hear about all that stuff. And so back then, it's a really immature dream, to be honest with you. You don't really know what it's all about. But I think it started off with wanting to protect and serve, and then also, hey, at that point, I want to be part of the best. And so that's why I went after the SEALs.
And so the SEALs, they're considered to be the best. What's the? Give me the equivalent. Is it a Green Beret? Is that kind of the same, but just in a different?
You know what?
Branch?
The different branches all have special units like SEALs, and it would be really unfair to say, hey, Navy SEALs are the best that's out there. I mean, they're well regarded, and SEALs are doing great work all over the globe right now. But same to be said, and credit due certainly to members of the Army and the Marine Corps who are doing a fantastic job. Whether they're in a special unit or in a conventional force, either way, we're all brothers and sisters in arms. So. I appreciate everything that you're saying, but it also, I get a little uncomfortable with that.
No, hey, look, I get it. No wrong answer in that situation. You're right. Everybody serving deserves hats off, and I will certainly give credit. After all, I am Mr. Credit. So when it comes down to it, I think people are interested by this, and that's the reason I wanted to spend a few minutes on it, because, you wonder, you never know what you're going to get. When you go out there, whatever it is that you're doing, whether you're going to a jewelry store to buy your fiance a ring, whether you're going to a car dealership, wherever you're going to purchase whatever service or product it is that you're looking for, you never know what you're going to get. And I feel like there's an inherent, quality, kind of an automatic integrity that's built into someone having gone through something like this, because it's not easy. What's the weed out? How many guys apply in your class who actually make it through to actually become a SEAL?
Well, just the strict numbers. My class, when I started, we started with something like 192 kids on day one of BUD/S, and when we graduated, of the original 192, there were 16 guys left. Now, we graduated with a little bit more than that, like around 32, but that's a result of guys who were in classes ahead of us who had gotten injured, recuperated, and then rolled back into our class.
I see.
So we graduated with roughly 30 guys, but of the original 192, we're down to 16.
So less than 10% of the people who even try to go and knowing what they're getting into can make it through.
It's pretty tough. I don't know all the long-term statistics, but it's not for everyone.
Right. So then that's the reason I think it's important to bring up, because when we're establishing a new guest on the show and you want to get a feel for what someone's all about, this takes a tremendous amount of it's mental as much as it is physical, is it not?
It really is. There are countless examples in the history of the of basic underwater demolition or SEAL training where we've had Olympic athletes, we've had star gymnasts who are in incredible physical shape. And certainly you must be in physical shape to make it. You can't be out of shape. But that is certainly not the only answer. There is a certain mental fortitude that is required, a mental aspect of it.
A will, so to speak.
Absolutely. And they've tried to study this for years. I believe very recently they did do a very exhaustive study with a private organization that they feel they've nailed down pretty much what that target looks like. Obviously, if we're looking to grow the Special Warfare Force, if we're looking to make more SEALs or whatever, what does it take? How do you start? Where do you find these people? How do you not start with 200 and only end up with 10 or 20? Wouldn't it be great if you could identify maybe 120 and end up with 50 because you start with a better selection maybe? So they've worked really hard over the years to do that. But the bottom line is yes, you must be in physical shape, and there's a mental aspect of it too. And I think guys who show up to the training thinking it's just cool, a couple days into Hell Week, which is really the big
weed out.
It isn't real cool anymore. So there's got to be some other reason why you're there.
It isn't cool anymore, boys. You aren't in Kansas anymore. You're in Neil Sabry. Navy SEAL Training Hell Week. That's a mouthful. Well, that is some interesting stuff. When we come back, we're going to talk more with Andrew Paul from Military Home Loans, headquartered out of Mission Valley here in San Diego.